Hello there, fabulous people. It's Jen here, and I'm just coming on to do kind of I guess a bit of a show and tell, really. And I'm gonna just chat about a giveaway that I won, and a lot of purchases that I have made in a very short space of time, which is really bad. If you can see part of this view behind me, it is because hubby and I are away for 3 nights at the Gold Coast. Every time we just want to have a little getaway, this is the place we come to because we just love it here and we're comfortable here. And it is magnificent. And I will insert a pic of the view from the balcony where you get to see the gorgeous like broad water in front of me, and it has just been absolutely heavenly and so needed, and I have felt so relaxed being away. It's been incredible. So I'll insert a pic here now. Okay, so first I thought I would share about the giveaway that I won. It's the very first giveaway I've ever won on YouTube, and it was from the beautiful Julie at Peekaboo Rose, who actually did a giveaway for her own birthday, which was beautiful. And as part of this, I got to choose a deck, or like it could have been whatever, a deck, a book, anything of a certain value from the book depository. So a deck that I have wanted for ages, but I just hadn't pulled the trigger on, was the Hush Tarot. Now, I am well aware that this deck is a deck people either love or they hate. And I have to say, so these are the backs. When I first started going through this deck, I was not disappointed. I knew I still loved it, but it created some great dis-ease in me. And I had real visceral reactions to it in my body, quite anxiety-ridden reactions to it, actually. But as soon as I felt that, it actually made me love the deck more, because I knew that if I was having all of these things come up, then this was going to be a great deck for me to work with and kind of dive deep with. And one of the biggest things about this deck, and if you followed me for any amount of time, you will know I have a completely irrational phobia of bees, because I'm not allergic to them. I just do. And there are bees in at least like 50% of this deck. And in particular, so if you see what I mean, bees all around. Let's go. One's got a big bee, big bees up there, huge bees. But this next one, okay, this one here, there is a bee going into her mouth. And even before I developed a completely irrational phobia of bees, I have never forgot as a young girl, and it was either watching Home and Away or Neighbours, because growing up, like, we did that with the family. And there was an episode where one of the female actors saw a bee go into a drink can, and then the guy picked it up, but she was angry with this guy at the time, And instead of warning him, she let him drink it, almost like payback. And he was actually anaphylactic to bees and ended up dying. So that has stuck with me for my lifetime. So I've always been paranoid about people leaving like open drinks of cans around in case something gets into them. And that's this with the bee in the mouth. It reminded me of that, as well as, you know, my own fear of, holy shit, like if I had a bee going into my mouth, you pretty much need to hospitalize me from anxiety, basically. But in saying that, I freaking love this deck. I read the book of this deck, and it's a very small book. I never read like the little books that come with decks, or shall I say 99% of the time I don't. And even though it's very short descriptions of each, it is enough to actually explain the artwork beautifully, really succinctly. So even though the artwork is so different, the book has made it so easy in its explanation of the artwork as well. And yeah, I am thrilled to have this deck in my collection. I have had incredible readings with it. Even this morning, it's the deck I've got. When we go away, I have my travel kit, and it has changed and evolved over time. So here, that you can't see in front of me, set up in front of the beautiful view, is where I've just set up my small kind of travel space where I do my 3-card reading. And the reading I did with the Hush Tarot today, I got the Wheel of Fortune, I got the Hermit, and I got the Ace of Wands. And so at first it was like, okay, I've got no idea what this means. But by halfway, well, no, it wasn't even by lunchtime, conversations and stuff happened with my hubby, and it was incredible how it reflected this. So it reads like a bloody dream, whether you're using traditional meanings or you're using the different imagery. And I love decks that have different imagery. So thank you so much, Julie, for sharing your birthday. And I am so thrilled that I was the winner of this giveaway. And it's another reason why, and even though I chose the deck I wanted, it's even more special that it was because Julie wanted to share her birthday. So this has been incredible. Now, the buying spree side of things. Well, I had been good for months. I hadn't bought a deck for months. Within 2 days, I had ordered 4 indie decks, as well as I found a copy of the original Mythic Tarot, so I ordered that. It has arrived. The indie decks obviously haven't, because they're coming from overseas. And then I made the really stupid mistake of going out to my local crystal shop with my sister. Now, I went for one thing. I have seen this little Kuan Yin at my crystal shop for ages, before the whole, pandemic and the shutdown. And every time I went in there, I would look at Kuan Yin. And I thought, no, Jan, like, you've got them on your space at home. But then when I was realizing I've got to pack up my travel bag, and aspects of my life have changed since then. So the way I wanted to set everything up has changed. And so I went, okay, I'm going to go and get her, like, really cheap. And then my sister found out and decided she would come. And her and I shopping together is never a good idea. It always just ends with a lot of money flying out of like the wallets. So some of the things that I got, well, I got this other piece of mookash. Okay, and I'm not gonna pick up, I've got other pieces of mookaite sitting down here, which, you know, I'll insert a photo of the setup that I've got going on as well. So you'll see them in the setup. Now, every piece of mookaite here have actually been bought either on the Saturday I went out shopping with my sister, it's now Monday here, or yesterday when we first arrived at the Gold Coast and went to the shops. None of them have been brought from home. But I did manage also to find a beautiful mookaite skull. And he is just a bitty baby one, but he is mookaite, so I had to have him. And he is gorgeous, and his name is Spit. Now the reason his name is Spit is because just that way there's a section along the coastline that's actually called the Spit. So we decided we'd call him Spit. My husband actually came up with his name. There's been a lot of jewelry bought as well in the last 2 days. So one, well actually, let's start with my fingers. Here at the Gold Coast, at one of the shops, I have been looking for a mookaite ring for ages. I finally found a mookaite ring. Shopping with my sister, I found this beautiful Herkimer diamond ring, which I love. Okay, what I've got this one with me, but I did buy this one a couple of weeks back. This is a Moldavite ring. I don't know how well that's going to show up, but it's a beautiful piece of Moldavite. And that one is a couple of weeks old. Then there was this agate ring. It's bad, people. Then this beautiful black onyx ring. And can I just say, I don't actually look at jewelry except for this mookaite pendant, which I spotted at my local crystal shop. And that's because it wasn't actually with the jewelry. I don't look at jewelry when I go into crystal shops. I avoid it. But because my sister was there and she was looking at jewelry, it all went pear-shaped. So that is my black onyx one. And then I found this amazing labradorite, and I don't think this is gonna pick, but this has like all the colors. It's got the blues, the greens, the yellows. It is incredible. Beautiful ring. And then, wait, there's more. I found this raw labradorite ring. And to match it, of course, I needed the raw labradorite pendant, which isn't on a chain because I just sort of swap it and use this black chain for most of mine. So yeah, and they kind of match really beautifully. Ah, it's been bad, people, bad. What else do I have here? Something my sister purchased for me also. I have seen this in my local crystal shop forever, and I have adored it, but never wanted to spend the money on it as much as I loved it. And I did not know she went and got this for me until after we left the store, and it is this amazing big blue calcite heart. Like, it is big and heavy, and it is, I just keep picking it up and holding it, and it's just, it is soothing, it is amazing, it is an incredible piece of blue calcite, and I love that it's in this gorgeous heart shape. I did find down here at the shop we went to a very tiny tumbled stone of pink calcite, which isn't going to show it greatly, along with all my mookaite pieces that you would have seen in the photo that I inserted. Okay, what else? Okay, so moving away from jewelry and crystals, I decided that I wasn't going to bring any of my playing card decks. Now, every time we come to this place, there's 2 shops around here that sell tarot decks, and one of them is the one where I got like my mookaite ring here from, and Spit, my mookaite skull, and then there's another one, but they're all same. You know, I've either got the decks they sell, or I'm not interested in the decks that they sell, and they're never really updating them in all the time we've been here. So I said to my hubby, okay, well, this time instead of getting one, there's also a kind of a game shop here that has this massive selection of playing cards, and I said, we're going to go and I'm just going to get a deck of playing cards, and that'll be kind of like, rather than an oracle or a tarot deck, that'll be my thing from this trip here to the apartment that we stay at. And I've always wanted the bicycle unicorn playing card deck, and I had it in my hands, and I said to my hubby, what one do you choose? And I was a bit, really, okay, I'm gonna go with the one you chose. Well, so he chose this one, which is Alchemy 1977 England is what's on it. And I was blown away by this deck, and so glad I got it and not the unicorn one. So this is just like a title card. It's got an extra card, and the 2 jokers are even just so cool. I hope it's not, I can't really, the sun's coming right in at me, so it's hard for me to see what's going on up there. But, so the back of it is just like the title card, and these aren't in order, and I won't show them all, but this deck, oh, I am so glad I went with his choice, because it is beautiful, it is incredible, the artwork in it, it just blew my mind. I absolutely freaking adore this playing card deck, and I am so glad I went with what he picked out and what he chose. So upside down. So where's, you know, obviously our kings, our jacks, queens, they're all more illustrated. It's one of our jacks. But everything, like, look at this king. It is an absolutely incredible playing card deck. And I have to say, I am in love with, and I can never remember the name of it, the Patrick Valenza playing card deck. I can never remember the name of that card deck. It's always been my fave. This deck is up there with that deck now, because it is incredible, the artwork on this deck. So I'm very thrilled that I have that. And before I get into the next thing, let's just see what else. Oh, someone who made a little journey with us. Okay, this is Garg. Okay, and there is a story to Garg. Garg has been a family member now for around 2.5 weeks. And Garg's a cheeky little bugger. The reason I bought Garg was for my hubby, but not just for my hubby to have and like put in his garden with his stuff. It was for a bit of fun. I actually wanted to get a gnome and do it with, but there were no gnomes when I was looking that was sort of the right size. So I found Garg. And Garg is a mysterious little dragon who just appears in random places all over our home. And he has turned up in, I can't even think of some of the places he's turned up now. On my husband's work bag. He's turned up in my husband's car unexpectedly. He's turned up in the fridge at times, in the microwave. And so Garg snuck into my bag and has been making his appearances around the hotel room. And you know what? It's just been fun. It's been a fun little game, a harmless little game that just brings a laugh. And you know, my husband's kind of played it back, and then I'll find Garg in places I go and stuff like that. But it's such a simple thing, but it's brought a lot of joy, and it's a really happy thing to do. So yeah, the Garg had to come, right? Like he's family now. And I think my husband shit himself last night. He scared my hubby a lot. Because of random places that he has shown up. And yeah, but brought so much laughter and so much fun. So this has been something that we've just been having a fun little time with for the last few weeks. And I had to bring Garg with us. Now, I think that's it, aside from when you would have seen these things. The last lot of things are all Harry Potter related. Now, I am not a Harry Potter fanatic, okay? I don't even know that I've seen all the movies. Most of the reason why I've seen all the later ones is just because they've randomly been on TV like 1,000 times, and if it happens to be a moment where we're kind of sitting down and telly's on, my hubby might put it on. He's a huge Harry Potter fan. I'm not. But somehow this weekend I have acquired multiple Harry Potter things. So the first one is I got this playing card deck. And really, I got it because the tin is really cool. The only thing is, I don't know how you tell what is like spades or hearts or diamonds or clubs, because it is just the I don't even know the name of it, like the houses that they get put into. And don't get me wrong, I think Harry Potter's adorable. I love the first one because it's not as creepy, and I don't like creepy or scary. So I got that. But then a few weeks back, I broke my Beauty and the Beast coffee mug. Heartbreaking moment, people, heartbreaking moment. But since then, I've been using a different cup, which is the cup my mum always uses when she comes over. Like, yes, everyone in my family, like my parents, my hubby's parents, all have a specific cup they use when they come. and it's okay, but it wasn't right, and I didn't want to bring it away because we always bring our cups away because we like certain size cups and all of that. I didn't want to bring it away because I didn't want to break it, and I just bought my travel cup, and as much as I'm okay with it, it just wasn't right, and I couldn't relax with my coffee. So in the end, I said to my hubby, you know what, I give up on trying to find one that is nice or I like the look of. I just bloody want one that's the size and style that I drink out of. So because we were in Zing, I don't know if it's all over the world, but he loves all that sort of stuff too. I don't know why I said too, because I don't. So we were looking in there and we saw a Harry Potter mug, which was the right, well, a few different ones, the right size. But because I'm not, like I said, love Harry Potter, think it's adorable, but I'm not a fanatic about it. I don't need to have like paraphernalia of Harry Potter. But when I decided finally this morning, because we saw this yesterday when we first went in, because we go to the big shopping centre, we do our groceries, because we just stay in and prep our own food and stuff. Although we are getting Uber Eats from the most divine Italian like restaurant here on the Gold Coast tonight. But yeah, so it's a like, what's the name? You know, the apartments where it has everything, ovens, microwaves, all of that. So, you know, we're not going out people, we're not big eat out, we're not fancy food people. So we go and do our groceries, and I didn't even take the price of this, but it doesn't really matter. We went back, and because it was the perfect size, I got this coffee mug. Now the reason I bought the box then and not the mug, because I've used the mug, but it is pretty cool. For someone who's not a huge fanatic of Harry Potter, it's pretty cool. So it starts out as this, where it says, I solemnly swear I'm up to no good. And then with the heat, it turns into, I don't know if that's going to focus, but it turns into the map, which is the Marauders map. I don't know, not that into Harry Potter, but it's pretty cool. Perfect size. Felt so content that I had the size mug that I like drinking out of. But the big Harry Potter thing I got. Now I spent more on this piece of jewellery than I ever normally spend on jewellery. But I have no regrets. So, running around with my sister, she also then needed to go to a jewellery shop to get a specific ring to go with another ring. Yeah, I don't need to go into that story. And my son was with us, and while we were dicking around, he was just walking around, and he called me out, and he showed me in the window these Pandora bracelets that were Harry Potter ones, and said to me, wouldn't it be cool to have matching ones? Now, I would never, okay, firstly, I'm not into Pandora bracelets. I'm not into them because they're like an everyone thing, and I like different things. Now, in saying that, I've had this Pandora bracelet on for 3 years, and I've had it on because it was a gift. And the things on it is like a study book with an owl, a little heart that says daughter, and a St. Christopher medallion. And that was bought for me as a present, as were all the things on there. So it has a lot of meaning, and that's the only reason I wear it, because I don't like to have things like everyone else. So I'm not into Pandora. I'm not that into Harry Potter. But he saw this. Now it's gonna be hard to do this because, like, to show you all the bits. To start with, the clasp is the Quidditch snitch. Is that what it's called? I think it's called the snitch. And it actually, these things like come up and down on it. See, like they move about. And then I should have taken my other bracelets off, it would have been easier. It has this one here, which has HP on one side, and then the other side has an owl, a broom, and glasses that symbolize Harry. You're not going to see that properly. It has Harry's owl here. Again, don't know his name, not that into it. It has this little girl in here. Where is she? In here. I know you're not going to see this properly. That's Hermione. It has this hanging letter, which was the letter that Harry received to say he was in the magic school. And it's actually pretty cool because it's written on. And it's 2 parts to it. And it's got the full address saying Mr. H. Potter, the cupboard under the stairs, 4 Privy Drive, I don't know. So it's the total addressed letter here. And then part of what's written in the letters on there too. And then the house sorting hat here. Can you see that? So I don't know how well you're going to see any of those charms on here in this light. This was a ridiculous amount of money for a piece of jewellery I'm not that into. But the fact that my son, my teenage male child, wanted to have a bracelet that was matching with his mother melted my heart. And my own daughter, I don't think would even do that. I think I'd be hard pressed to get her to have a matching charm of one of these with me. So the fact that him being a male, Pandora, yeah, and my son is great like that. I love him. He'll go to friends. He went to my sister's that night. They painted nails. My mum goes on about it, which pisses me off. I love that my son doesn't give a shit about what people think of him. I think being 15 and already being in that place is beautiful. One of the rings he picked while he was with us is actually a female ring. And he didn't care. And I love that. And the fact that he wanted an essentially female bracelet, and it's not that he's that huge into Harry Potter either, matching with his mum, melted my fucking heart. And I could not say no to that. The cost of it didn't matter, because the sentiment behind this bracelet is, I have no words for it. I honestly have no words for the sentiment behind it and what it means to me. So yeah, I feel like tearing up every time I talk about it, because it is heart melting to me. And yeah, so I think that is pretty much the lowdown on all the new purchases, the deck I chose for the giveaway I won, and thank you again to the beautiful Julie at Peekaboo Rose for sharing your birthday with everyone, giving them the opportunity, but with me winning it. That was exciting. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that, and I hope you enjoyed seeing those little photo inserts, both of the beautiful view and the little setup here, because it was just too hard to try and maneuver everything around. I only bought my little thing to sort of set my phone up on. So thank you for watching. And last thing I wanted to say, if you saw my last video about an update on what's coming up on the channel, I had the plans, because that was the Friday I did it, to start Finding Purpose Friday that day. the day ended up being crazy, and I could have done it late at night, or I could have technically done it my Saturday morning because it still would have been the Northern Hemisphere Friday, but I didn't want to rush it. I didn't want to just get on and totally rush it and like end up not saying what I wanted to say. So it will definitely be starting this coming Friday. So that's Find Your Purpose Friday. And yes, that's all I wanted to say. I didn't think this video was going to go as long, but I never do, right? So thank you if you've hung out with me for this long, and sending loads of love to everyone. Mwah. Bye all.